Hi everyone, it's Friday. It is November the 8th, and this is the Moneyball Morning Report for the Benzinga Pro platform. My name is Anne-Marie Band, and we have had a week of really big fireworks. FOMC meeting yesterday didn't tell us anything that wasn't expected, but what I want to do right now is show us some big picture formations. So we're going to take this last wave high to low. We're going to measure that move right there. And since this was a breakout and retest, it seems reasonable that we can replicate the move. Maybe 6,300 is an upside formation. So now we look at the next bigger move. And so that's this one. We took the most recent wave down to up and the breakout. And so now we are looking at ranges that could be as high as 6150, 6155, something like that. So what we have seen is buyers have been forced down, and there is a very clear line in the sand right now on the dailies at 5724. Do we know what's going to happen there? I don't know. I have no idea. But what I do know is the formations are telling us that, you know what, let me make sure that these properties, beautiful. The formations are telling us that pullbacks are buy zones. And these clear ledges that we are seeing where the traders came in and said, yep, I'm buying the dip, and yep, I'm taking the breakout, gives us the following opportunity. Now let's go to the past. Here they are. This wave, also fairly important. They break out, and what happens? It comes back to retest. So what do we expect? We expect a retest of the regions near 5880. That's also a relative breakout space, and it's really important. And so let's just anticipate that we may have ourselves a fade, and the first pass fade will be a pullback into support. Let's not think about whether we've got anything going on with momentum. Let's just look at the form that says, hey, this is what's happening. Okay? All right. So that being said, that's what we've got to watch. And so today, on a Friday that's normally bullish, we can take a look at Edgeful here. Let's peek in at Edgeful and see what the futures tell us about price action for the opening range break. All right, and so we're looking at the E-minis, breakouts 29% of the time. Let's look at it by weekday, right? Today's Friday, breakouts 38% of the time, double breaks 46% of the time. And so what we can see is breakdowns are relatively rare in the market. And so this tells us, hey, listen, we're okay. Pullbacks are buy zones. We've got ourselves in good space. So what are the pullbacks that we need to look for? My thought is, how about the close of 2 days ago? 59.66, right? That might be pretty interesting. 59.66. We'll see what goes. And that's what we'll stare down. If we go to the hourly chart, we've got all kinds of Fibonacci. So let's remove all of them. They did a great job for us yesterday. All right. Here is the last major wave. Let's do the same measuring tool technique. The last wave pulls down, finds a higher support, and breaks out. So this is a range. Let's clone it, and let's move it up. What do you know? So if it breaks again, this is what we have to look for, okay? So my thought is it's still one time framing up, right? And so pullbacks are buy zones. We think 59.66 to maybe 59.55 might be ideal spaces. especially since we're underneath the moving averages here, we want to be careful about that. And again, listen, we have very thin pockets here. We could easily collapse. So if you're thinking to yourself, ooh, it's a buy the dip day, yeah, but that dip could be significant simply because we've had so much move in the prior couple of days. Largest 4-day move of 2024. Okay? So here's what we're staring down. My thought is the following. Dips are great buys as long as we hold 59.85. The moment we start losing that, I'm going to look for the bounce to sell and come back into deeper support. But the framework is still time framing up. So you can see if you're trying to be patient, long action is going to be the way to go. And so instead of saying, hey, listen, I want to go short, just think about, let me see what my frameworks are doing. If I can double top, excellent. If I can really make a formation that goes, uh-oh, yes, excellent. And then down here at the thin pocket area of 58.50, 58.55 that I spoke about would be great. All right, let's take a look at the NQ. All right, let's go to the daily. And let's do some wave measurements. Now, this is a gigantic wave. I don't want to look at it right now because it's almost too big. So let's look at the last one that looks normal. It's so weird the way this thing does this. Hold on. Properties. Let's see what the... Oh, it doesn't allow me to crudsicles. All right. Technical term, crudsicles. All right, so here we go. All right, I'm going to clone this and put it near the top. Now, you could argue, well, wait a second, isn't the real breakout zone near 19,830? Yeah, because it does come in and test that region. So easily my box could be a little bit big. If I pull it down into the breakaway range, it's still got room. Oh, wow. Coincides with 21,503. Is this a dip buying formation? You betcha. You betcha. Okay. So to me, this is telling me, wow, I wonder what's going to happen to oil today. It really ought to bounce. Sorry. This is telling me the market has still got a ton of upside pressure. And so let's look at another wave. And that's this one right here. This is the last wave. How do I do this? Let's duplicate it. And we'll put it up here. All right. Still telling us there's upward pressure right there. So a lot of things showing us upside movement here in the NQs. Let's take a look at the hourly. What are they doing? They're coming back to look for support. Now look at this move. This move has been gigantic. The retest area is not until 20,800. So what we have to anticipate is, what are the traders going to do up here if there's so much rotation to the downside from the gigantic move to the north, right? Because this has been one time framing up something fierce. Here's the thing. When it does that, the buyers are going to come in on the quick. They're going to keep coming in on the quick. And so you'll be able to buy the dips. This is yesterday's VWAP close. You'll be able to buy the dip into resistance. That's 21,260. Okay, that's 21,260, and you can hold it into the breakout because it's got another 250 points to the north. Now, what do we see here, though? We are underneath the slowest hull. Now, that doesn't mean that we short. Notice, as this moves up underneath the hull means look for support because that's going to be a buy zone. What do we want to get up and over? Listen, my thought is, We got to breach 21,211. Where do I see single prints? Hang on a second. Let me check my motive with platform. Single prints are sitting up all the way to 21,200, right? And so easily that ends up being a space where you can trade into that area and then raise your stop. All right, so pullbacks, buy zones. If we lose 125, buyers are going to try and come in. If they fail, we've got ourselves another story. But right now, everything is dramatically bullish. Let's take a look at the YM. Gigantic break. Inverted head and shoulders, someone mentioned. So let's take a peek. All right, so let's just anticipate that that is the edge. Okay, it breaks down, almost comes back to 50%. Let's see where the break is. Pretty close to the top of its range here from this big break. So if somebody was looking at this as a measured move, absolutely, it's given it up. Take a look at this though, watch. It breaks out, old resistance, pulls back again, brand new support, 41,948, and now is in another breakaway pattern. Where is that? Let's double this again. 2.618 is 46,738, and then 47,100. All right, a lot of upside pressure here. Emerging markets, very confused. Everybody's going to be coming back to the U.S. We could have ourselves, you know, it's seasonally bullish anyway. We could have ourselves some kind of very electric into the end of the year price action event, because now buybacks have opened up, and that's just going to juice the market. So we could see a few very interesting things. My thought is we got to buy the pullbacks, right? So the question is, where is the ideal pullback, and how can we manage the frameworks of those events? Man, oil is really breaking down. That is suckage. Okay, I expected it to hold this zone. Although, I mean, I easily could see it moving off the rails, but we'll see. All right, so that's what we're looking at. 1 hour charts. Wait a second. Let's go back to the daily. Properties. No. Original time frame only. Okay, let's go back to the 1 hour. And what we are seeing, look at this auction vacuum. Folks, if we fall into an auction vacuum, the collapse could be huge. So if you're thinking buy the dip and you get long here at 43,500, if it starts losing the edge, cut and run. Do not average in. It's going to shred you. All right? Just be very, very careful there. Okay, let's take a look at SPY very quickly. I'm running kind of long in the session here. Same sort of thing. Breakout formation. Dips are buy zones. We're looking for the buy formation. This is the last wave. Let's draw the picture. Do we want to have the wick? Why not? Right? Let's have the wick. Breakout area. We clone it, and then we go, all right, let's see what happens. Can it hold this 50% line? That's where it's going to be. Look at the thin volume, the low volume pocket right here. Pullbacks are buy zones. So that's about eyeballs wide. That's about the 50% range. Let it lose the level and then recapture it. And then Bob's your uncle, okay? Meaning that's the easy way to do that. I've had somebody go, what do you mean Bob's your uncle? Well, everybody's got an Uncle Bob. That's what I mean. Okay, so there we have it. If we lose the 592 and we cannot recapture, 594, and we cannot recapture 595, we've got downward pressure. Remember, Fridays are notoriously bullish, particularly in 2024. It has been a very bullish event. All right, let's take a look at this. skinny wave action here, but let's measure it, right? Oh, crud. All right. Oh, for goodness sakes. All right. We had to get these drawing tools just a little better. Okay, so let's clone it. Look at that. It's pretty close to the top here. So it's got upward pressure, 521. Here's the midpoint. $510, and there's the breakaway. I expect it to come into 502. I do. I expect it to come into 502 and potentially move back up. So I like that. All right, pullbacks or buy zones. Watch the measuring. I know this is a simple event, but it really is helpful to tell you whether the traders are caught in a range or time framing up. Okay? Super important. Super, super important. All right, that's it for me, folks. I'll see everyone at the Zoom meeting today, or at least those of us on the Benzinga Pro platform. Take care. Watch your size.